Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is a new video series called The Three Things You Need to Know. And in it, we want you to hear straight from the experts on a variety of topics. They'll share in their own words what you need to know right now. My name is Jennifer Best, and I am the head of marketing for All American Entertainment, also known as AAE Speakers Bureau. We work with event professionals and meeting organizers to help book celebrities, entertainers, and speakers for conferences and events. So today I'm speaking with keynote speaker Alex Benayan. Alex is the youngest best-selling business author in American history. A renowned expert on perseverance and exponential growth, Alex has presented his trademark, the Third Door Framework, to business conferences and corporate leadership teams around the world, including Apple, Google, Nike, IBM, Snapchat, Salesforce, Delta Airlines, MasterCard, and Disney. Wow. The Third Door chronicles Alex's 7-year quest to uncover the definitive mindset of success. His book is a #1 international bestseller and has been translated into more than a dozen languages. The Third Door framework has helped individuals discover unconventional routes to achieve their biggest dreams and has aided Fortune 500 companies to take new approaches to sales, marketing, and exponential growth. Hi, Alex. I'm so excited to have you join me here today.
I am very excited to be here with you too, and thank you for having me.
So sure, I appreciate you taking the time from your schedule to chat with me about the 3 things you need to know about exponential growth. But before we dig into this topic, I wanted to ask you to explain what the Third Door means for anyone who's not familiar.
So after spending 10 years studying success, and it doesn't matter if I was interviewing, Bill Gates for business, Lady Gaga for music, Maya Angelou for poetry, I realized every single one of these people treated life and business and success the exact same way. And the analogy that came to me is that it's sort of like getting into a nightclub. There's always 3 ways in. There's the first door, the main entrance, where the line curves around the block, where 99% of people wait around hoping to get in. We've all seen people, that line stretches down the block, standing in the cold, hoping the bouncer lets them in. That's the first door. And then there's the second door, the VIP entrance, where the billionaires and celebrities go through. And for some reason, society has this way of making us feel like those are the only 2 ways in. You're either born into it or you wait your turn like everybody else. But what I've learned, and what I'm sure you've seen in your own career, is that there's always the third door. And at the entrance where you jump out of line, run down the alley, bang on the door 100 times, crack open the window, go through the kitchen, there's always a way.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's a great analogy. I like that. So I want to know, have you ever returned to in-person or hybrid events yet? Where are you excited to be next?
I am very excited that in-person's picking back up again. The calendar is starting to fill up with in-person events in this summer. I already did my first one, got another one coming up. We got some in the fall. So I'm very grateful to see the shift. As much as, I loved being able to connect with people on virtual events, there's nothing like in-person events for me personally, where you can see the audience's eyes light up. That's why I got into this in the first place.
Nice. Yeah, I think we are also happy over here that the event industry and live speaking is coming back, because we've been looking forward to returning to in-person events or hybrid events. And I know for us, we're really happy too that we think virtual events are going to stick around for a while, but now we all know how to handle those. So that's the good news. I'm really excited for you to share with us the 3 things we need to know about exponential growth as a marketer, and additional in my role here. So what is the first thing we need to know?
Well, what I would say is that there's a couple things. So in addition to, the third door mindset, I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is when it comes to cultivating a mindset of growth. Again, it doesn't matter if it's in a marketing position, a sales position, in a leadership position. People think, going back to the third door analogy, the hardest part of taking the third door as an individual or as an organization is, running down the alley, banging on the door, figuring out your way in. Most people, especially if you're at a high performing, company like yours, most people are actually extremely capable of figuring things out when they're in the situation. You might struggle, you might make mistakes, might be in the alleyway and your pants get muddy, but you'll figure it out. You'll find a way. The biggest reason most people don't take the third door, the biggest reason most people don't even begin to cultivate a journey of growth, because of fear of leaving the line for the first door. And it makes sense. That's where your friends are. That's where your family expects you to be. that's where you've gotten to where you are. If you're lucky enough to have a good job, that's where you're being fed and housed. That line for the first door is a lot safer. It's a lot more certain. But the number one thing I've learned from 10 years of studying success is that no one achieves a big goal. No one achieves a big dream from the comfort of certainty.
Yeah, definitely. It is definitely scary to step outside of your comfort zone sometimes and take a risk. But I think if anything, the last 12 months have taught us that that risk can have a great reward if you're willing to put yourself
And
out there and
sometimes you don't
try
have a
something
choice.
different.
Sometimes it's either, you go for it or you flounder.
Wow. No, I think that's really, really great. So what do you think is the second thing we need to know about exponential growth?
What I would say is that, there's this big misconception that I see, and it makes a lot of sense too. When you think about the way we're, raised, whether it's here in America or internationally, what are we taught when we're little kids? The opposite of up is down, the opposite of success is failure. And one of the biggest things I've learned, again, over studying success for 10 years, is that success and failure are not only not opposites, they're just different sides of the same coin. They're both a result of the same thing. They're both a result of trying. So the opposite of success isn't failure. The opposite of success is not trying. One of the biggest things I try to share with audiences around the world is that the goal is to be unattached to success and unattached to failure, instead be committed to trying and growing. And that's what changes your life forever.
I mean, that really hits me. I love that statement because it's so important. I mean, you think about success versus failure, and it's really not all about that. It's really about not putting yourself out there in the first place and not trying. And I even thought about that this week. I was trying something new, and I channeled what you were saying, and you've said in the past is that really, what do we have to lose? If you only lose if you don't try, and you're guaranteed to lose if you don't try. So last but not least, what's the third thing we need to know about exponential growth?
The third thing, and this is what I'll tell, especially people in leadership positions, which is there's this very natural misconception that, when you're doing well, let's say a company is doing well and but they still want to increase their year-over-year growth. Right. There's this misconception that if things are going well, they should continue to go well. And this is what ends up happening. When you are on a path of exponential growth, when you're starting something new, whether it's in an organization or whether you're doing something new as an individual, if you're doing something big, something you've never done before, the way I like to describe it, it's like driving on a dirt path in the dark of night. I don't care how experienced you are at driving, how good your car is, you will hit rocks, you will hit holes, you will, your check engine light might pop on. That is the natural course of events. And one of the things executives need to come to terms with, but again, this is true of people at any level, is that when you're trying to start something new, when you're trying to go for a big goal, which is the journey of exponential growth, rejections, mistakes are a natural part of that entrepreneurial journey. So instead of seeing mistakes and setbacks as a sign that you're on the wrong path, what I try to help organizations with is realize it's a natural part of the journey. How can we process that in a healthy way to make sure it doesn't set us back, but instead continues to propel us forward?
Wow, I really like that. I mean, obviously working in the marketing field, I'm all about wanting to drive exponential growth for our sales organization, for our company as a whole. And I think that it's really important to remember that you are going to make mistakes along the way. And even if you work for a small company like mine or a big company, corporate America, I think it's always good to hear this information because I think it's important that you have to try. You have to accept the fact that you're going to make mistakes. And sometimes you're going to guess things and they're not going to be right. And learning how to handle that and learn from it is so important. And that's what I'm hearing you say.
That's exactly it.
Okay, great. All right. So thank you so much for sharing these three things we need to know about exponential growth for organizations and individuals. I'm sure our audience got a lot of great insight today, and I know I definitely did, Alex. Thank you. So to book Alex for an upcoming event, you're going to want to visit the link in the description below or check us out on aaespeakers.com. We've also shared a link to purchase Alex's best-selling book, The Third Door, in the description. You also might be able to catch Alex on Clubhouse if you're on the app. He is the founder of the Third Door Club. He also hosts a room called Third Door Live. And so if you want to follow Alex on Clubhouse, you'll get a notification when that room is live next. So thank you very much, Alex, again, for joining us today. I'd invite everybody to make sure you're following All American Entertainment on YouTube, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. So thanks again, Alex, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Jen.